Welcome, everybody, to the Detonated YouTube channel. We got an official reveal for every Prestige icon coming day one within Black Ops 7, which, yes, just like last year, includes 10 different Prestiges, Prestige Master, and a level 1000 grind. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined today by Detonated co-hunter and Bombshell co-host, Mr. Fajardi. How you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to break down these beautiful Prestige icons that we've got in the past week. Should be a fun one, and yeah, we're going to talk about all the controversy and everything. It's going to be a good one.
Yeah, so as we saw with BO6, and maybe even Call of Duties before BO6, I just can't remember, what Treyarch and other studios will typically do is they'll go ahead and tease a bunch of Prestige icons on their Twitter. They'll change their profile picture, or they'll just post a random tweet with 3 or 4 of them. So as of recording this video, the progression blog is not out just yet. I'm going to cover that on the main channel once it releases, probably at the end of this week, which will obviously detail a bunch of rewards, milestone unlocks, and other details surrounding progression within the launch window. But we ended up getting, I think it was 3 icons revealed on a recent Treyarch dev talk. Then they ended up releasing, I think it was a graphic with the first 4 Prestiges, even though only 1 of them were new. And then, as of yesterday, we ended up getting Prestiges 5 through 8, and today, Prestige 9, 10, and even Master. So when it comes to these icons, what were your initial impressions with the looks of them? Do they feel like emblems, like some folks were saying, or do they actually feel like they are Prestige icons as we saw in recent Black Ops games? I just will say real quickly, they're very different compared to a lot of the recent Black Ops entries, and if anything, feel a bit more like the Prestige icons we had back in BO3. But what are you thinking?
Yeah, 100%. I think they're going for that futuristic look, and that's clearly showing. You know, we're in the 2035 setting, and a lot of people are giving these a lot of hate, and I think it's completely unwarranted. They're clearly more futuristic in terms of the tone. And comparatively to last year, Black Ops 6's Prestige icons were more focused on the legacy games, what has happened before. And I feel like these are all completely original, brand new ideas that are just cool for the future setting, which I think is kind of awesome. It doesn't have the piggyback of anything previous. They're just cool. But that's my initial thoughts on that. But a lot of people aren't really digging them. I just think, you know, they're icons. They're something small in the game. They're not this big, grand thing that you're going to see 100% of the time, not necessarily even while playing. Obviously, you're going to see it in the lobby, but they're going to be so minuscule on your HUD. People are going way too into this, I think.
And plus, as we'll get to in a second, there'll probably be a way to change your icons after you hit Prestige Master, so most people probably won't even run these after a certain point. I think what actually matters more, though, is the sets of rewards that come with each Prestige. Like we saw with BO6 last year, and what I believe we're also going to see with BO7, is that the sets of rewards for each Prestige will probably match the tone, theme, and vibe of the icons themselves. So as long as, let's say, the operators and blueprints and other cosmetics in each Prestige are fantastic and are worthwhile, that probably is, if anything, a lot more important than what the icon actually is. Not the biggest fan of some of these icons. I mean, some of them are pretty colorful, pretty bright, vibrant. Some of them do pop out, while others are a little more bulky and kind of have too much detail in them to the point where they just feel more like emblems from a bundle, if anything, but not really bothered by it. As far as the rewards do go, we got a reveal of the Prestige 1 operator skin and even the Prestige 1 blueprint, which seem to be for David Mason or are tied to his character, kind of getting vibes of that Navy SEAL outfit we saw in the Black Ops 2 campaign. But what are you thinking about those first rewards thus far?
Yeah, I mean, people went psycho for these when they got revealed in the most recent dev talk from Lawrence Metten and the progression squad there. And I think rightfully so, that what we've seen so far out of this is like, they're absolutely awesome. Going back to the Navy SEAL look from the Black Ops 2 campaign all the way back in 2012, like, how could you really complain? The operator skin, obviously amazing. Not too sold on the blueprint they've shown. It's just for the MXR 17. Again, kind of bland, but who knows? Maybe a lot of stuff was changed because a lot of the Battlefield people complaining. But yeah, I gotta ask, like out of all these icons, which one is your favorite? That you're like, oh, I can't wait to get to this Prestige. For me, it's number 5. Obviously, I'm a purple. I love purple, but for me, it's number 5. I gotta put that out there.
Well, I will say I like more of a simple Prestige icon. I don't like the ones with too much going on. Like, I think 2 and 4 are just a bit much. Not really digging those too much, but I will say 5 is cool. I saw a lot of hate for 5. I like 5. I like 6. 6 and 7 are pretty clean looking. I think 1 and 8 look cool upon first glance, but as a prestige icon, like if you were to show that to a random person who hasn't played COD in a couple years, or just any person at all, really, they probably wouldn't guess those are prestige icons. But if you look at, let's say, 3, 5, 6, and some of the later ones, those do look like prestige icons. So it's kind of weird how the style they're going for kind of shifts every couple of prestiges here. It's very odd, but I also really like Prestige Master. If anything, I actually like it more than the Prestige Master icon last year from Black Ops 6.
And much like last year, you know, as these emblems started to get revealed, a lot of people started bringing up the idea that these were made by AI, and no different to this year with Black Ops 7 throughout all the reveals of these prestige icons. The comments were absolutely filled with people saying, don't use AI, this is AI, and I'm gonna come out and say I don't think these are AI. I really don't. I don't think last year's were AI either, and because you can really tell, I think. And there's clear examples of this in Black Ops 6. I'm not saying there's not AI in Call of Duty. There's confirmed there is, but there are some clear emblems inside of bundles inside of Black Ops 6 right now that you're like, yeah, that is 100% complete AI. But I don't think these are. They're a little bit too like detailed and specific and tailored. I don't think they're necessarily AI, but I want to get your take, given, you know, I'm sure you've seen a lot of comments on it as well, about that.
The thing is, I think people need to start coming to an understanding. They might not agree with the artistic direction of certain things, which doesn't mean that AI created whatever that is. They may just not be a fan of the direction an artist went with a certain piece, a certain project, and that's okay. I hope these weren't made by AI. I hope a real person was actually paid to come out with some truly original prestige icons, because that's what you'd hope for every new Call of Duty. But after so many different Call of Duties, so many different prestige systems, can't really be surprised that after a while, some of the prestige icons start to look a little odd. With these icons and with the AI controversy, I will say there's probably going to be very little people could complain about with Black Ops 7, considering a lot of pieces of feedback have been listened to, have been addressed, like persistent lobbies and SPMM and aim assist and a plethora of other things, to the point where this is kind of that low-hanging fruit that's left to try to complain about, because I guarantee you, with upcoming bundles and challenge events and other cosmetic rewards, the AI accusations aren't really going anywhere. But I personally find that a complete waste of time to even complain about. Not because we shouldn't have, you know, real artists being paid good, fair salaries to make good work, but simply because AI is going to get so advanced in the next couple of years, and kind of already is now, that we're not going to be able to tell the difference come soon. I mean, even right now, this happens between work created by a human versus work made by AI. So it's kind of a never-ending discussion that is probably never going to change anytime soon.
Now, the last thing we'll talk about is the lack of a reveal of a prestige shop returning from Cold War. This was one of the best systems they've ever added, obviously all the way back in 2020, or maybe it was 2021 during the live seasons, but absolutely amazing system. It procedurally let you grind and unlock new rewards, so you never just left stuck with just not really grinding for anything. I think it was a great system. Plus, that was actually embedded inside of the seasonal prestige system, so I think it actually, if it did get brought back, it would be, it could be even done even better. But maybe they kind of substituted that with rewards. I think that's actually kind of the trade-off. But yeah, Prestige Shop was an amazing feature. And I want to know your take if you think it can be integrated in today's classic prestige system.
Well, I definitely think a shop would probably be the most handy after you hit Prestige Master, but it's a question of how many people are actually hitting high ranks like that into Master or close to 1,000. So that's probably why they're not going to bring it back. I think what they're trying to do, though, is provide more value for those players that get past Master Prestige and want more to unlock after level 100, 200, 300. Hence why they're going to come out with the ability to unlock, you know, different colored player titles and things like that. I think the Prestige reward system BO6 introduced is better than the Prestige shop, because it's more than just, hey, get some keys and get blueprints, legacy calling cards, legacy emblems. But I think there could be a way where both could exist, where maybe a shop is introduced before Prestige Master, if anything, and maybe BO7 could, you know, introduce, because they're doing a lot of camos, maybe some unique camos, or maybe some extra operators or extra blueprints that, instead of putting them in like a future challenge event behind like a collection or an XP milestone, they could just put them as like a prestige reward, which I think, if anything, would probably encourage better player engagement. More people will probably be encouraged to continuously keep playing, get to a higher level to get some additional rewards, kind of like adjacent to the regular prestige reward system.
All in all, we are glad Classic Prestige is back. And as for the controversy surrounding the AI, AI icons and maybe use of AI within these icons. I feel like it's all going to blow over by the time launch comes. It was kind of the same thing last year with BO6. I think it's a lot of people kind of just screaming at the clouds about it. But yeah, all in all, I think these icons are actually pretty solid, and I can't wait to get inside of BO7 and unlock them.